What's up? So everyone's like, are you going to talk about that Chauvin trial? Like, you going to talk about that Chauvin trial? Yes, I'm going to talk about that Chauvin trial. Y'all, it's a victory. It's a victory for brown and blacks. And I don't want to just, I'm not trying to, I love all people. But it's a victory for us. And it's a much needed victory. I was very nervous, I will say. Because honestly, and I'm just going to shoot you straight, a lot of the times when you have a Caucasian male and he just hits and just stirs the pot a little bit on these cases on the defense side, he can easily hang a jury. And I say this not only about white males, but about attorneys in general. I've hung a jury based on what somebody ate for lunch. And you can hang a jury. And I was really worried about whether or not this jury would be hung. I think the prosecutors did a good job in the case. And now y'all see the importance of experts. Experts are important. A lot of the times you all want to bond out of jail. You want to just go get a lawyer. But experts are important. And so that's my take on it. I'm happy. I feel like basically now there will be more victory. That jury has let America know that it's okay to actually stand up for what's right. Despite the fact that it may not be the most attractive thing to do, it may not be the most popular thing to do, would be to convict someone who's an officer of the law. But it was right. It was necessary. It was a fair verdict. Chauvin is gonna appeal. We already know that. Anytime somebody gets a lot of time, you as an attorney, you file a notice of appeal for them, and they're gonna appeal that case because you as the attorney have to give them the ability to appeal that case and set them up to appeal that case. But whether or not he's gonna have something to appeal on, I doubt it. The issue is they found him guilty on all 3 counts. So I don't know what evidence or what objections they can try to use that will mess with a jury. Jury verdicts are hard to overcome on appeal. The only way you can really overcome a jury verdict on appeal is if you prove that the judge allowed evidence in that he or she should not have allowed in. This judge seemed to try to help Derek Chauvin to me. Now, I don't know if I feel like this judge did this so that he would not be appealed, so that if Derek Chauvin was found convicted, it was, so that if, he did, if they did convict Derek Chauvin, that it would stick. And so that's why he was like that on his rulings, so that they could not come back on him. That very well may be what he was doing, making sure that an appeal would not stick in case of conviction, so that those rulings, they were for Derek Chauvin. So how can Derek Chauvin use the judge as a grounds for appeal? So I really think he's screwed. Whatever happens with his sentencing, the conviction is going to stick. It's going to stick. It's no way. That judge was sticking his neck out, in my opinion, for Derek Chauvin. And so I almost want to file an appeal, even though we won't, because those rulings were not fair. Some of that shit wasn't fair. But again, jury came back. Jury convicted him on all 3 counts, so he's stuck. I think it's giving hope for other people. Little Aubrey, is that his name, that was just killed. And then there was another little girl killed. I don't really want to go into her case, or because it's just very fresh and we don't really know all the facts. But a victory, and I think we're gonna start seeing more officers be convicted of more crimes. They're starting to convict them now. So that should clean things up a bit, because if you know that you're going to be convicted of something, you'll pay attention to the way that you do things and what you do. So eventually it'll have an effect on the way that the officers are acting in the streets with our people, because it's our people that are accosted constantly and pulled over constantly. So I mean, I think, it's good, for the black nation, not only just because we got justice with him, but also because it's cyclical, y'all. Once these officers know that they can't do this shit and keep on functioning and operate, and they're gonna get their asses pegged for shit, they'll stop. The ones that are doing it will stop. And people, and I tell people this all the time, cops are not bad. I have a lot of friends that I grew up with that are officers. I don't think officers are bad. It's a few officers, just like in any occupation. And that's in any occupation, you got a couple bad ones. And they spoil it for everybody. But the only thing I would say for officers is when it's a couple bad officers, them sons bitches is busy. They do a lot of damage. Now that I will say. But them few run amok and terrorize. And so it's gonna stop them. So that's my little spiel on the Derek Chauvin. Yay, happy.